Hello and welcome to morning prayer. Let's just take a moment to settle in and settle down. I share words this morning from John Phillips Newell's book, Praying the Earth. All things come from you, O God, and to you we return. All things emerge in your great river of life, and into you we vanish again. At the beginning of this day we wake, not as separate streams, but as countless currents in a single flow. The flow of this day's dawning, the flow of this day's delight, the flow of this day's sorrows. Your flow, holy mystery, in the twistings and turnings of this new day. Amen. We are now almost, not quite a week, into the season known as Eastertide. And the season of Eastertide, back to back with the season of Lent, constitutes that cosmic cycle of dying and rebirth. That cosmic cycle that is reflected in the world around us, in the seasons that come and go. And yet there are times when that season of death and rebirth can happen by the time we have our coffee in the morning. These are archetypes. And I think as we look at the season of the pandemic that we are in right now, I think it's important that we consider what lens we bring to this pandemic. And it is for sure a dying time. But I think at the same time, when we look at the possibilities for rebirth, because that is the natural way of things. Dying, rebirth, seasons come and go. I wonder what season we can imagine being born out of this pandemic. Because I think if we look our planet straight in the eye, I think if we are honest, we can say at the same time that there are thousands who are millions who are suffering right now, and millions who are longing for back to normal. And I suspect most of us wake up every day and go, oh, is it normal yet? However, when you take the broad view on our planet, I wonder if during this pause for some of us, this time out, isn't time to consider whether or not normal is good enough. A normal that is manifested in extreme levels of rich and very poor. Normal that includes a global economy that is consistently destroying the earth. A normal that is dependent on a Canadian economy that is based on all of us being consumers, which means that we are related to people elsewhere in the world who are creating our goods for next to nothing and living in abject poverty. And yet at the same time, Canadians, driven to consume, are riddled with debt, imprisoned by debt, and exhausted. And we know that mental health issues around all of that are huge. So I don't know if I'm thrilled with the idea of normal rising again from this dying. And so all the great spiritual teachers, including Jesus, would say, if you want a new birth, if you want a new beginning, something has to die. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it this morning. Beginning with something has to die in us. Hopes, expectations, understandings of what normal is. need to die, and our imaginations need to take flight as we consider, what can we recreate? What rebirthing can we be part of as we move through this season? That invitation is a most holy task. Let me close with these words. All things are born of you, gracious Spirit. We carry within us your light and your life in the mystery of matter, and deep in the cells of our souls are your longings for oneness, the oneness of the universe, vast and vibrating with the sound of its beginning, the oneness of the earth, greening and teeming as a single body, the oneness of the human soul, a sacred countenance in infinite form. Grant us your longings for oneness, O God, amidst life's glorious multiplicities. Blessings on our hearts opened by love. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I commission you to live in your imagination this day, good friends. Let us begin to imagine a new earth and a new heaven, drenched with a gentleness and a respect that will envelop all the nations.